Welcome back to another video talking about video games. Today, I will be talking about alternative game modes in multiplayer games advertised as the next big thing. With every multiplayer game out, it has its signature game mode that everybody plays it for, but eventually the companies/developers behind said game want to try something new and create a secondary game mode. This game mode is advertised as the next big thing and another way of playing the game. Now, not all of these modes are shut down, but for the majority of these game modes, they're obviously not as popular as the main mode and either become abandoned, get shut down altogether, or in rare cases are still supported. So today, I'll be going over the failed alternate game modes and why they failed, or aren't as popular as the main game. Dual Front was introduced in Year 10, Season 2, with the engine update known as Siege X. With the engine update to Rainbow Six Siege, a new game mode was also heavily advertised along with it. This mode was a 6v6 game mode that featured both attacking and defending sites, respawns after death, and a rotating cast of operators to choose from each season. Finally, to keep everything fresh, every season had a side objective you could attempt. This would grant you a point or progress. These side objectives included saving Dokebi, or in the latest season, collecting valuables. The main rules were simple. There are 3 bomb sites that need to be defused. After one is defused, a new site is open for the defenders to now defend, and the first team to defuse the last bomb site wins. Each game is 30 minutes long, and abandoning a match results in a penalty like ranked. To prevent stalemates, the bomb sites decay over time. Essentially, the timer to fully defuse the site is reduced over time. This gets to a point where if it decays to the end, just planting altogether instantly defuses. This happens after a couple of minutes. All these new rules sounds fun, right? And not even a whole year later, Dual Front was announced it was getting shut down. With Snake's season being the last season, the mode will be playable. I forgot to mention this, but Dual Front was also advertised as being quote-unquote newcomer friendly, due to respawns and translating the skills over to the main mode. Side note, it fucking isn't. Big issue with Dual Front as well is the maps are open, and if you're defending, you're not stuck in the building without being spotted outside. So if you thought attacking was difficult in the main mode, Dual Front's a whole different fucking story. Again, there's a reason the bomb decay was a thing. The defuse time takes fucking forever. It's kinda funny because in my experience it's either you turtle up until the decay started, or double down on attack and have the whole team brute force. Another problem would be the map design in general. It's very easy to get lost and try to go through restricted areas, which I can understand since those areas would be ghost towns and you need to focus on the main area. That I can understand. But I still get lost when I'm trying to rotate over to the side objectives of the mode. Dual Front also only has a select amount of operators you can choose from. This is because some operators simply aren't designed for this mode, like Scopos or Rook. But that's a flaw in the mode itself and not the general operator design. The operators as well will be rotated out and in during each season as well, which in general is a questionable decision to make. Honestly, just have all the usable operators available. Finally, the biggest issue with Dual Front and why it ultimately failed is it expects more teamwork than the main game mode. If you thought getting 5 solo queuers to work together was hard enough, you're in for a shock with how much teamwork is needed for Dual Front. You need significantly more teamwork to play the mode as intended compared to the main mode. Some things I will give Dual Front as a new mode is counter-swapping is a viable strategy. You do need to be flexible to win matches in Dual Front. For example, if your site is taken, you can swap to Zofia to concuss the defending planters for an easier take. Or you can swap to Oryx to take down a shield strategy. If you have experience with Overwatch, you are given the ability to transfer that skill set over to Siege. Side objectives in general are a refreshing part of this game as well. Basically, each season the game was out, they added a new seasonal side objective that gave you progress in your defuse time as a reward for doing it. I already went over this in the beginning, but hey, you get points, that's what matters. What I like about it is it gives you a secondary objective you either try to win, or you keep doubling down on your current objective if you're already dominating. Truthfully, I had fun playing Dual Front, but I still understand why it's ignored by the majority of the community, and as it's shutting down this season, it won't even be playable in the future. So, from me personally, give Dual Front a final shot before never having the opportunity to play it again. Strive 3v3 is what the name implies. It's classic Guilty Gear, but instead of 1v1, it's 1v1 with 2 characters on each team that can assist in combat or tag in. 3v3 fully released in November 2024 along with Dizzy, and the gameplay is simple. Both teams share 1 health bar, and with Heavy Slash you can tag in for an attack, and if you want to swap, you gotta press every button except Dust. Sounds pretty simple, right? What happened to it? As much as it is possible to solo queue in Strive 3v3, good luck actually finding people. Originally, it was just May and I queuing for 3v3 after I begged her for an entire Siege match. Eventually she accepted and we started our squad, but after a good 10-minute wait, I almost gave up entirely, finding a random solo queuer before my buddy Mike just got on. So we finally had a third to play. Now, as much as the gameplay of 3v3 is somewhat fun, it's pretty obvious 3v3 itself is kind of on the super niche to dead side. As in the 3 sets we played, we straight up only got the same 3 opponents. I don't really have many problems with 3v3's gameplay, as it's really just Strive with assists and the occasional tag. You also have the ability to customize your own assists, which I think is pretty cool. But really the only issue with this mode is nobody truly cares about the mode anymore. It's casual fun to 3v1 the enemy, but other than that, there really isn't much else to do in this game mode. Not to mention, Strive finally got its ranked update a couple of months later, so every Strive player just moved on to the ranks grind.
Motherfucking goddamn sons of bitchin' fucking.
Funny thing enough, I was originally going to make a video just dedicated to this, but in typical fashion, I scrapped it. But because I am talking about alternate modes in video games, I think it's an appropriate time to talk about the biggest piece of wasted potential in Street Fighter 6. This is known as Avatar Battles. Avatar Battles are a Battle Hub exclusive game mode where you play as your World Tour avatar against other people's World Tour avatars. It's your custom moveset against your opponent's custom moveset. That's it. That's the entire mode. You think something as simple as this would be fun casual mode for the average Joe after playing through World Tour. Too fucking bad it isn't. Avatar Battles also takes your level and stat buffs into the battle. And if you've played World Tour, you know of the permanent item buffs you can obtain in the game mode. Now, combine that with a level 100 avatar, and now you have an immortal custom fighter who deletes half your health bar, while your character will hit them with a cash out combo that only does 20% of their health. Yeah, this mode has a lot of problems. Biggest issue with Avatar Battles is mostly the barrier to entry for a fair match. You want a fair match in the main game? Easy. Step 1. Play ranked. Step 2. You get your fucking match. Boom. That easy. You want a fair match in Avatar Battles? Well, you got 2 options. Option A. Grind the fuck out of World Tour, collect every buff, level yourself to level 100, take fucking 150 hours to do every single side quest, collect every Alpha 2 while you're at it, then finally go to Battle Hub. Or option B. Try and find someone your level, then find out they also have a fuck ton of buffs, so go back to option A. Yeah, option A is the only way to enjoy this mode unless you go to an empty Battle Hub and ask a Discord for avatar matches. Which leads you back to option A, as nobody in the official Street Fighter Discord actually plays this mode. Yes, I'm being slightly overdramatic, but the main issue of Avatar Battles is the barrier of entry is too long and high for a fair match, as most matches are dependent on if you even have the buffed items or a similar level. While Avatar Battles isn't exactly a quote-unquote failed game mode like Dual Front, or fully dead like 3v3, nothing has changed in Avatar Battles ever since launch. And since the barrier of entry for it is so high, I doubt the majority of players will try it out. It's kind of funny because there's one singular change that can actually make Avatar Battles more accessible, and it's to add a mode where the buffs and levels are gone. Have your vitality to 10k for everybody like in the main game, and have the damage mirror the real game's damage. Boom. With this simple change that, dare I say, takes 2 fucking hours to implement. We have made Avatar Battles instantly more accessible and fair for the average person to try out. Finally, let's go over an alternate game mode that isn't getting shut down or abandoned. Yeah, I lied with the video title, but I still wanted to talk about Stadium, so bear with me. Stadium is Overwatch's alternate game mode, releasing in April 22nd, 2025. Stadium is a best of 7 Overwatch match where after each round, you can buy upgrades for your selected hero. This includes more damage, better speed, and what makes the mode refreshing with each game, the power system. You get 4 total powers for free, and once you select it, it's permanently added to your kit until the game ends. You unlock each slot in rounds 1, 2, 4, and 6, and each power is a massive modification to your hero's standard kit. You're also locked into the hero you select for the entire game, no switching allowed. Gadgets were also added later on to this game mode. These are items that give off buffs when certain scenarios happen, but you can only have 1 gadget enabled per match. There are 4 game modes that are playable throughout Stadium, being Clash, Control, Payload Race, and Push. So this is the one time you'll actually play Clash, and out of the 51 heroes in the game, currently 32 are playable, with 33 being playable by the end of Season 2. So unlike the other 3 games I'm talking about, this mode is still supported by the developers. Despite the other 3 modes, this mode wasn't shut down or abandoned outright, as the developers are still adding heroes to the game mode. Something I'll give this mode is because of its complexity and the amount of shit that's going on, this is the one time where I'd say 5v5 is significantly superior to 6v6. And as much as the mode itself is extremely complex and hard to digest, the game throws you a bone with pre-built builds that you can follow if it's your first time playing. Or you're just stuck on what you should buy. This is also one of the few times I actually enjoy playing Clash or Push. I have never been a Push fan, and Clash was so bad I got removed from competitive outright. But because the push maps themselves are significantly smaller, it makes respawning and grouping up less of a hassle. The time limit of push is also smaller, as well as the distance to immediately end the game. This version of push to me is significantly better compared to current push's 10-minute timer and 100-ish meters to end, as it feels less steamrolly. And in the situation where you do get steamrolled, it ends fast enough to where it doesn't slog for long. Not to mention the respawn back into action is significantly faster. Clash as well also has this improvement, as the worst part of Clash was getting that last point, since you had to essentially steamroll the enemy just to get to the last point. Clash in Stadium is a first to 2 points, so it's faster, as well as the last point not being a total slog to capture. As much as Stadium's fun, I still have some gripes with the general gameplay changes. As much as I understand why you can't swap in the first place, Overwatch itself as a game is built around counter-swapping to other heroes. So there are going to be matches where you outright just get countered and there isn't much you can do about it. I get the game tries to fix this by having everyone choose a character one at a time, but if you're one of the first people to choose, it's not surprising if they pick characters that can counter you. Bounties as well are a pseudo-comeback mechanic that's given to dominating players. Essentially, if you kill a player who's dominating the match, you're given a Stadium Cash award for killing them, which kind of feels like the game itself punishing you for performing well. Hey, congratulations on having a good round. Anyways, we put a 2k bounty on you, so no pressure dying and giving the enemy a cash bonus, right? Lastly, there's also a no surrender option whatsoever, but instead you're given a mercy rule. Basically, if you're down 3 points and there's a 10k cash difference, the game itself ends off mercy, as the game rules it essentially impossible for you to make a comeback. Truthfully speaking, I'd much rather have a team vote mercy option in round 4 if you're down 3 points on whether you want to keep going, or want to end early and re-queue. I've seen comebacks from way worse positions in other games, and even if 10k cash is a significant disadvantage, there are still people out there who would want to finish through instead of the game outright telling them, quote-unquote, you're done. Maybe make it a majority vote on whether the dominated team wants to keep going. So, if the majority of the team just gives up, they can take the loss and re-queue. Now, aside from my personal gripes, it's pretty obvious why out of the 4 games I've talked about, Stadium is the only one really thriving, as it feels the most complete, while also vibing with the current player base. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with trying something new, especially to keep things refreshing. But with most of these game modes, they felt like a one-time experience before returning to the main game mode, instead of actually being a mode you consider equally splitting your time with the original mode, which explains why they failed and are either planned to shut down, got abandoned, or are still supported despite not being as popular as the main game mode. If I missed a mode, please let me know, and if you like these modes, please feel free to tell me why I'm stupid and a massive LARPer in the comments below.